Hello, my name's Tim Collins. This is my exam project for my Integration of Technology and Education course at Buffalo State College, EDU 375, section 1425. I decided to do a video about the website Genius and the new Common Core standards. So without further ado, I think I'll just get right into the presentation. I'm going to talk about the Genius website and what it does. Okay, the Genius site, it started in 2009. Their mission statement is Annotate the World. It's a Web 2.0 application akin to Wikipedia, except instead of an encyclopedia, what it is annotated text posted online where users can upload text and or annotate the text which is already up there. People have debates about the correct. It started, just take a step back, it started in 2009 as an archive of user annotated rap lyrics. The founders were some friends who really liked rap. They graduated college. They lived in different parts of the country. They wanted to continue their debates about the meaning of rap lyrics. So they created this site for themselves, and since then it's just kind of grown like exponentially. It quickly expanded to all forms of music, and today, after they got a huge investment, they've expanded their scope to include just about any and everything that can be uploaded and annotated, from literature, news, sports, history, law, technology, and anything else you want to upload. They'll find a place for it. So there's an introduction. As I said, it expanded from only rap lyrics to include things like literature. So instead of just having a Jay-Z lyric, you'll have poems by Shakespeare, Emily Dickinson, Edgar Allan Poe, Wallace Stevens, on and on and on. Anything you could imagine can be put up there, and there's already a ton of work already done in their archive. So I'm going to play this video about Lit Genius and education. And the point of my presentation is going to be that the Rap Genius, or actually it's just the Genius site now, is really such a great tool for teachers when we're talking about the new Common Core standards, which I'll talk about in a moment. But let's watch this short video.
You assign your students a book to read. They have ideas, they take notes, but all they can do is cram their thoughts into the margins where no one will ever see them. What if students could bring these thoughts to the foreground? What if a book became a space for conversation? On Genius's literary site, Lit Genius, students can read together and share their ideas as easily as they do on Facebook. A student annotates a line. She can illustrate her argument with images and videos, or add links to draw connections across the text. Classmates can comment on each other's work, beginning class discussion before class even begins. A point system with upvotes and recognition of top scholars turns close reading into a game. Student profiles become portfolios of their work, which teachers can review and respond to with ease. Suggestions from classmates and feedback from teachers help students develop ideas for future essays. Lit Genius empowers students to create their own interactive text, bringing their reading to life. So now it's your turn to join the growing community of teachers and students who are using Lit Genius and the other Genius sites in the classroom.
So as the video shows, this is something that's becoming more and more accepted in education, and they're really starting to find ways to market their site to educators, because it's such a great resource for teachers who need to teach close reading. It's basically the close reading social media site, to make it as simple as possible. So the point of my presentation is that this close reading social media site is so great for a number of the new Common Core standards. The new standards have really changed the way teachers in secondary education, anyway, have to approach teaching reading. Reading is no longer a matter of simple reading comprehension tasks where students read a text and regurgitate the information. Today, the new standards reflect what's happened in the field of the study of language over the past 30 or so years, where the emphasis now is on interpretation, close reading, and citing textual evidence. It used to be that students would read, answer questions, and if you were lucky, somebody made some grandiose statement about what the text meant, which had maybe little or nothing to do with the actual text itself. Maybe your teacher would pontificate about the meaning of life or something like this. Today we've moved past all that, and we have a new enlightened way of approaching the discipline where we really try to think through the meaning of the language by looking very closely at the language itself and keeping ourselves focused on what's really there and not letting ourselves kind of drift off into Never Never Land with our interpretations. So I'm just going to look at a couple of the standards which come right from the handbook. I think you could apply any number of the ELA standards to what the Genius site does, but I'll just start with these 11 and 12 reading. Number 1, cite strong and thorough textual evidence to support analysis of what the text says explicitly, as well as inferences drawn from the text, including determining where the text leaves matters uncertain. So the Genius site is, I hope you got the impression, is all about annotating text online. So you can't get away from the text. It's right there. It's side by side with the interpretation. And interpretation leads these inferences from which we draw larger conclusions. The Genius site really makes a whole community. It's like an online literature discussion course. It's where people can partake of this in an online social environment. Number 4, determine the meaning of words and phrases as they are used in the text, including figurative and connotative meanings. Analyze the impact of specific word choices on meaning and tone. Again, this is exactly what it is to annotate. It's to keep track of the words that are tricky, define them, and interpret them, which is exactly what the Genius site is about. Another part of the new Common Core, beyond the changes with how language arts are taught in the secondary, at the secondary level, another big change and new thing for ELA is incorporating technology into study of language. With ELA, it might seem that technology would be somewhat of a irrelevant aspect of education, but the Common Core standards really make a point to emphasize that technology needs to be incorporated in every course of study. And when it comes to ELA, that means more than just using a word processor to create your documents. For example, on the speaking and listening 11th and 12th grade, standard number 5, it reads, make strategic use of digital media, for example, textual, graphical, audio, visual, and interactive elements in presentations to enhance understanding of findings, reasoning, and evidence, and to add interest. This is all these things are exactly what the Genius site does. First of all, it is itself digital media, but you can incorporate all these other forms of digital media. You can embed audio, video, images. Obviously, it's all about writing textual notes. It's totally interactive. And it's all about thinking through a given text and bettering your understanding of it while being engaged and interested. I think a format like this, where a lot of kids might already be using it, it'll really add a lot of interest because of how interactive and digital it is. So as I said, technology is not only incorporated in the use of word processors and emails and things, but in any way possible, you want to incorporate technology today. So even beyond the word processor in writing, 11 and 12, standard number 6 reads, use technology, including the internet, to produce, publish, and update individual or shared writing products in response to ongoing feedback, including new arguments or information. Again, this is, exactly what the Genius site does. It's cutting edge when it comes to using the internet as a means by which to engage in collaborative writing projects, which focus on interpretation and arguments about how you interpret something, and getting continual feedback. The fact that students will have their own account means that they have this ongoing investment in their work in an ELA class, because it's somewhat like literary interpretation as a social media program. Welcome to part 2 of the presentation, where I'm going to give a very quick tutorial on how the Genius site works. As you'll see on the screen here, we are at the home page. The icon in the middle is Genius with their logo. At the top here, you'll see all the different categories of annotated text that we will find here. I'm going to scroll down. They'll post new texts that have been uploaded. See everything from best fantasy performances of week 11 to Kurt Cobain's Suicide Note to Taylor Swift's new song, I'm assuming, Blank Space. Eric Church, I believe, is Country. Dostoevsky. So as you can see, I guess there are 2 points I want to make about this site. The first one is, it's such an amazing way to get kids who are interested in song lyrics. I'm going to just browse around the rap version, the rap section. It's a great way to get kids who will most likely be using this site to follow their own interests, like Ray Stremmerd, Rick Ross, Big Sean, Azalea Banks. Let's look at this for kicks. Kids will be on here looking up their favorite lyrics anyway. Azalea Banks' new song. They'll be here on here anyway, looking up their favorite song lyrics, and they can jump right over to some of the more advanced content, which a lot of which are things that you might find in the Common Core Regents exam writing section. So anyway, let's take a look at this. I guess I'll use this song to demonstrate how the basic principles behind how the site works. All the text which is highlighted on the left here, we have notes for. It's been annotated. So you left mouse click, and then the right column here you get information. This, I've never heard it before, but Azealia Banks' song, The Ice Princess. The song opens with the sound of what seems to be stormy weather. This foreshadows the ice theme of the song. So as you see, Interpretation 101, done by independent users, not in an English class. This gets kids thinking critically and interpreting song lyrics completely independently. So let's look at the first line here. I'm so cold, I'm dripping icicles. Her heart's so cold, she's metaphorically dripping icicles. Another Common Core standard is determining the rhetorical forms the author uses to make their point. Exactly what's going on here. So anyway, I mean, it goes on and on. The song is being interpreted line by line. This is exactly what the Common Core standards are about when you're talking about textual evidence and close reading. Couldn't be a better match. Just to give you a little tutorial here, every note is written by a user. You have to be logged in as a user in order to annotate, in order to upload. So anyway, we have Gavin McCabe wrote this note. You can like it or share it, and the quality of the notes will be determined by how many likes they get, and people can dispute. Another Common Core standard, as you can see, we have a video. You can put video or photos. So anyway, so much for Azealia Banks. Let's look at some of the other things. The rock version. It's going to be about the same idea, except now we have the Velvet Underground, Garth Brooks. Let's see, anything else good? Daft Punk, Kurt Cobain, Suicide Note. That's a little morbid, as much as I like Kurt Cobain. But anyway, let's get into some of the heavier content with the Lit Genius. So Dostoevsky, the Brothers Grimm, Christina Rossetti, Marianne Moore, William Shakespeare, John Steinbeck, Sully Breaks, the Bible, Lao Tzu, J.D. Salinger. So you get the idea here is that we go from contemporary song lyrics, kids interpret and annotate them completely independently with no adult supervision, as it were. And then we jump right over to Dostoevsky. Let's see how this goes. The Grand Inquisitor, and then we have some basic information over on the right-hand column. The Grand Inquisitor is the most famous chapter of Dostoevsky's The Brothers Karamazov, and is often read as a standalone parable. The setup, as recounted by Simon Critchley in the New York Times, is as follows. So we have Dostoevsky, famous novel The Brothers Karamazov. Then Simon Critchley is actually a famous philosopher based in the UK. So we've got philosophy and literature. This may have been this probably wasn't uploaded by a 13-year-old freshman, but in any event, this information is right there, one small mouse click away. So this is Critchley's analysis, and I mean, you couldn't imagine a better resource. This is exactly what the Common Core standards are about. They're about what Critchley does in this little blurb here, which was published in the New York Times. Uh, Ivan Karamazov, the middle Karamazov brother, has written a prose poem set in the 16th century in Seville, Spain, during the most terrible time of the Inquisition, when heretics were being burned alive willy-nilly like firebugs. In the poem, after a particularly magnificent auto de fe, when almost 100 heretics were burnt by the Grand Inquisitor, the eminent cardinal, Christ suddenly appears and is recognized at once. People weep for joy, children throw flowers at his feet, and a large crowd gathers outside the cathedral, etc., etc. So the point being that this is, couldn't be a better example of exactly what the new Common Core standards are getting at. Critchley here demonstrates exactly the way professionals apply close reading and textual analysis and all that good stuff. Videos are included. Let me just go up, try another one. News. President Obama. Malcolm X. The combat against ISIS. Try maybe law. That sounds like an interesting one. Got Plessy versus Ferguson. Let's see what this is about. I haven't heard of this. Vosburg versus Putney. And then again, right front and center, it tells you what's going on here with the article. Vosburg versus Putney is a staple of the first-year law classes, both because of the unlikeliness of the chain of events and for the general rule still applicable in the U.S. that one takes a plaintiff as they find them, meaning that if you intend to do something tortious, then you're responsible for all the resulting harm, no matter how unexpected. Let's look at some of the... So this is an interpretation of a case that is taught often in first-year law school. So again, let's look how seamless and easy it is. We go from Pusha T, lunch money, Pusha T. People have painstakingly annotated and interpreted Pusha T. Let's take one quick click on the top to history, and we have future usage of uranium by Albert Einstein. Let's take a quick look at that. First of several letters Einstein wrote to ensure the administration knew the developments of his research, the disruptive impact. So this is Einstein's letter warning government officials about how serious the science behind the A-bomb really was. So let's read here. Sir, who is it addressed to? On the original letter. So Einstein's saying here that he's talking about creating energy, not as a bomb, but as nuclear energy. Following facts. So he's saying that we're enriching a lot of uranium. People are figuring this out, and it can be used in the construction of bombs. So in any event, I hope that makes it clear how the site works. I just want to show a couple other things here. I'm going to go to Genius. Just go to the About, if I can find that. Learn more. And this is their kind of mission statement, their manifesto. I know that there's... And here's their history, self-told. And there's space for comments on all the postings. That didn't work. I guess. And we can create our own documents. So I'm going to do something here. I happen to have done my master's thesis on hip hop. So they don't want you to duplicate songs, so I think I'll forego that. But anyway, the other great thing for educators is you can have kids find what they're working on in class and see if it's already up here. If it's not up here, they can post it and they can put their own annotations in. They have features for educators. Let's see here. Where educators can create their own pages for their class, which is only accessible by their class, by certain users. You can create groups. There it is, education. There we go. So they're developing this. It's in the early phases, but they have Education Genius video here about Lit Genius. So it's all about creating classroom projects where you can use this platform as a means by which to annotate a text, which, as I've shown, is a perfect example of applying the new Common Core standards, not only for interpretive close reading, but also and equally for the use of technology in English language arts. Again, I can't say enough about how great this site is to bring those two things together and get kids interested. So I'll end my presentation with that. I'd highly recommend this site for teachers.